My name is Eric Oakley, and I've been playing disc golf 17 years is when I first started. I remember the days super vividly of slamming on discs constantly. It was amazing. The first time I saw a disc go from hyzer to flat out of my own hand, I was in. I was gonna play disc golf for the rest of my life at that point, and that was early on. I had to use this off season to recover. I have some tendonitis in my elbow and I need to take full time off. So 6 weeks without throwing was nuts and not something I've ever done in my time playing disc golf. I think if anything, my hunger for disc golf might be higher because while other players might have been playing throughout the entire off season, I was wanting it a little bit more. So, and also have a better perspective that disc golf is not permanent for everyone. And if I don't do the right things, it could be short-lived. Attacking dogwood is not something that you can just kind of do. You have to be feeling it. Of course, it does set up well for my forehand, so I'm going to be really leaning heavily on that on a couple holes. I thought I was going to be throwing a lot more high speed, so sticking with my felons and my fairways is going to be probably the best way for me to score out here. I legitimately will always step up to every single shot with full confidence. I could have had a bunch of mistakes, but I'm still going to step up to that next shot because I have executed it before. So who's to say I can't do it again? Look forward. Something Brian Lamoureux, he's a dynamic disc guy, he said that to me actually at Dogwood a few years back. And he said, hey, don't worry about that, look forward. I said, no. And I said something, he's like, no, look forward. And that's stuck with me ever since. Even when I'm not playing that well, I'm finding a way to scrape by. And that's from, again, that positive talk, that positive feeling, and that's because I do love the game. And I do appreciate the game, and I have no expectations. I'm not setting a number that I need to shoot. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just enjoying what is in front of me. Being on the road is tough sometimes, and being away from my wife now is especially tough. But we work at it, and the beauty of it is Tina can come out at any point. The hard times are definitely outweighed by the good. So when it gets hard, you just got to remember that good is on the horizon, and that really hits home to me, especially because every disc golf round, like, you can throw a terrible shot, but you can follow it up with an amazing upshot. You know, it's got to be living in that moment and trusting that you're good enough no matter what. Finding a routine, that's it, is sticking to that. Getting to the course, doing my disc golf strong warm-up, throwing some shots in the field, jamming some putts, and then just being ready to go. Putting myself in a good headspace that disc golf is about to happen, I'm ready for it, let's go get it.
Welcome, disc golf fans, to the first round of the 2021 Texas State Championships presented by Latitude 64. First event on the PDGA National Tour for 2021. And again, this coverage is presented by Innova Disc Golf. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by fellow lefty Nathan Queen. What's up, Nathan?
What's up, guys? Happy to be out here commentating on the first national tour since 2019.
And we are officially back, and we have a fantastic starting card. Nolan Grider, a fantastic Texas player, Eric Oakley, Chris Dickerson, and Jonathan Nicholson. What do you think about this Dogwood course that we're attacking today?
This is one of, I'm going to go ahead and say, one of my more favorite places to stop on the tour. You've got 17 holes of straight hit your fairway golf, which is my favorite.
And we have the one hole that Nathan is talking about. Hole 1 is a 474-foot par 3, and this is scoring like a par 4.
Yeah, this is over half a stroke over par, averaging at 3.56 for the day.
What I'm seeing a lot of players doing is they're not trying to really park the basket, but as you'll see Nolan probably line up, he's just going to try to throw over all these trees. The problem is, as the hyzer is falling, there's another section of trees that catches those hyzers, so a 2 is very challenging here.
Yeah, probably not many 2s on the day. And we had a slight headwind today. You won't hear us bring up wind really all that often on this course, but on this hole, that headwind is coming into play, making it a little more difficult for that high hyzer shot.
Nolan's gets shut down by that really big guardian tree that kind of defines the hole. And Eric hoping to make a correction here. He has added some serious power to his throw. Been working on his form over the past 2 seasons.
Throwing something pretty overstable here. It seems like he came out just a bit early. Down on that left side, if he keeps carrying, really is pretty open, but it does look like he's gotten caught up and could have a tricky approach there.
Yeah, this is one that a lot of players in practice were kind of laughing at. They were trying hard to get the 2 here, but it's really not a common play. I think Dickerson mentioned he was going for more of a stall hyzer on this one, a little flatter out of the hand.
Yeah, if you can push it out straight, it seems to carry over those trees a little better, and then it just kind of dumps towards the basket. And it looks like that headwind may have gotten a hold of this one a little bit. It's got some good distance.
And that could be trouble over there on the right side.
Could be trouble, or it could have carried back far enough where he's got a pretty easy pitch up.
And Jonathan Nicholson, a newer name you'll see on the tour, has been playing the game at a pretty high level, plays for Dynamic. I'm excited to kind of see his skill set here.
Yeah, I got to play a B tier with him in Kansas last year, and a very solid player, used to be a baseball player, and coming up fast.
And that looks to be a little early as well. And he's going to stop. Oh, wow, that went a lot farther than I thought. He's going to have a pretty easy up and down for a 3.
And this looks like a good shot. Just catches up a little bit low, about another foot of height on that, and it would have carried on down to the basket.
And Chris's stall hyzer was a little bit too shoved by that headwind. He's got to get creative here, and as you can see, taking his time.
Gets out and over top, lands probably about circle's edge, and gets a pretty nasty roll kind of sideways on the hill instead of downhill. Long look for a par there. Eric doesn't look too obstructed, giving a little jump putt up, and that's really all you want on this hole, is to tap in your 3.
And I'm excited for you all who have not seen Nolan play in the woods. I'm very excited to watch him play. He's a phenomenal, smooth mid-range thrower. Has been playing the game a long time.
Yeah, so Jonathan here, pretty close for the 2 look and electing to lay up with the downhill green there. We did only have 2 birdies on this hole for the day. Ricky Wysocki and Kevin Jones getting it done with the 2.
And here's Chris for a 3.
Pretty long look here. This isn't really what you want for the par, but something Chris can definitely hit.
Just off top.
And right on line there. It's better to miss high than low on the first hole. It keeps your confidence a little better than hitting the cage.
Jonathan will tap in a 3. Again, taking over a half stroke on the field. Kind of a strange starting hole. You really wonder what the designed shot is to get the 2 on this par 3, but players will be happy taking a simple 3 and moving on to the next hole. Eric and Jonathan are going to take their pars. Chris and Nolan will start off with bogeys moving into our second hole.
Yeah, hole 2 here. And I'd like to point out this drone coverage is brought to you by Flight Factory. Big shout out to them for sponsoring this drone coverage. Hole 2, switching it up from high over top. into a low, tight line. You've got a right side line and a left side. Most people will be going up this right side straight. You got to avoid the OB Creek, which it looks like Eric has barely done thanks to that bridge. Pretty tough, too, to get.
Oh, yeah. Tight gap, OB everywhere, kind of Idlewild-esque, kind of that OB Creek running through the hole, which is already challenging enough. We're going to see Jonathan pull out a sidearm here.
Yeah, hitting this gap and getting 3/4 of the way down the fairway is the main goal here. Once you've gotten 3/4 of the way there, if you can get it to move right, then you're doing great. And both players so far have released early. Eric got a kick and stayed inbounds. Jonathan did not get a kick and went OB in the second part of this creek. And this looks real smooth out of Nolan here, just right up the gut.
I called it on hole 1. Smooth mid-range thrower. Been playing the game a long time.
Dickerson, this looks like the play for the forehand or the lefty backhand. And that's the tree. Unfortunate roll away there, but he is still just outside the circle and does have a look for the birdie.
Eric almost dunking it in the basket. He's going to be about 15 away for his par.
Yeah, that's a good recovery shot. Once you land short, you're definitely not guaranteed a line to the basket.
And here's Chris for the birdie after his roll away after hitting that tree.
It looks like he's a pretty similar distance to that putt he had on hole 1, but he's got the flat ground play now and not going to miss it twice.
And that distance is so money for Chris Dickerson. He's got that phenomenal spin putt. He's got a fantastic step putt that he can kind of execute multiple ways as well. I saw him kind of just do a straddle on that one. I love that.
Yeah, he's figured out a way to keep the weight centered on his front foot no matter where that second foot is, and it's really cool to watch. And after the more technical backhand shot, just unable to convert, hitting a little right side. Eric cleaning up his par, though, after a good save after hitting so short.
And that's going to be a bogey for Jonathan Nicholson. And
Yeah.
This course, I firmly believe that hitting the first half, like you had mentioned, just getting halfway up the fairway can save you so many strokes because of how thick the rough is. Hole number 3 is no different. Long, subtle dogleg par 4. The tough part about this fairway is it's not a straight shot off the tee. It's bending slowly left the entire way. Too much hyzer and you have no look to the basket. Too right and you are in jail. This is a sweet line to watch the players throw.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything here, you do not want to go right.
You see, Dickerson is picking a hyzer flip with something flippier in his bag to keep in that fairway.
Oh, man, and that is just an amazing shot. Straight down the fairway. Never came into play with any of these trees here.
That's smooth, all right.
And Eric, going with what I said, just make sure you don't go right, came out just a bit early. He'll be scrambling for his par from back here. And it looks like Nolan is going to be doing a similar thing.
Jonathan has thrown a better line that's going to get a nice forward flare.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, and a great thing about this hole is even after you get such a great tee shot down there, the approach to the green has that OB Creek in it, and there's lots of little trees, so you still have to work your shot around, even though it may be a little shorter, which I really think is a great design.
And like you had mentioned, Eric is not biting off more than he can chew. He's chosen to opt to lay up before that OB Creek and take his par.
Yeah, he drifted a little long right, it looks like. He'll be having to work a little more than he wants to for his par, but it's still pretty reasonable from where he's at. Yeah, Nolan also playing to just kind of lay up short of that creek. Looks like he's in a better spot. He should have a pretty straight look towards the pin from there.
And Chris Being as aggressive as he is, I'm guessing he's going to try to get this patent pending birdie here.
Yeah, this looks like a hyzer. Straight through. He hits, it looks like one of the last trees close to the basket. He'll be about circle's edge there, maybe just outside.
And Jonathan may be pulling out some ultimate Frisbee tricks. That was a smooth straddle forehand, looks like with a putter.
Yeah, got far enough up there that he just had to figure out a way. He's got a pretty easy birdie look now. And Eric playing up there well after the early release on the tee shot.
About 20 short for Nolan, and here's Chris. I'm guessing from circle 2, can't quite tell yet. Yeah, about 50. And this is his bread and butter range as of the past couple years.
Yeah, on hole 3, and he's got his third step putt here already. I'm guessing it's going in. That hit the same spot as hole 2. He's got it dialed in. I'm looking forward to watching this the rest of the round.
Watch this. Just so simple. And like you said, balance. His weight is just so centered. He's not leaning forward. He's not falling back. That's kind of the trick to having that solid circle 2 step putt.
I'm looking for the par save from Nolan here. About 20 feet.
There's that Texas spin putt.
Yeah.
Funny how so many players from Texas have to beat the wind, and it's kind of a standard style of putting, that hingy, wrist putt. You see Emerson Keith have the same putt.
Yeah, lots of spin on it to keep, just keeps it a little more steady in the wind. You have less of a chance of the wind grabbing it with the faster it's spinning.
Eric is going to take his par.
And Jonathan looking to match Chris. About 15 feet here. No problem.
There's his birdie. He's back to even.
The pig is just the disc for me. From the top of the disc all the way to the bottom of the flight plate, I have 100% control of what this disc does. Thumb track's gonna give me consistency and the confidence to hit that angle a little bit better. I can throw sidearm, feel comfortable. I can throw backhand, feel comfortable. High pressure upshot, I'm reaching for the pig. It's the upshot disc.
And moving on to hole 4, another placement par 4 here. You want to get up to where that last tree you can see right there is and miss it. You can't see it from the tee pad, so you're throwing a blind shot around this tight gap. Once you land in the fairway, it's a fairly easy up to the basket, but there is still a gap to hit and quite a few trees to get around.
Yeah, it's a very depth perception oriented tee shot.
And
Chris has put himself to an okay spot. That's going to be a tough up and down for the birdie. These are holes that I like to call old school par 4s because it's only 474 feet, but it demands 2 fantastic shots and a little creativity.
yeah, and you see that looked great out of Jonathan, and he just caught that blind tree you couldn't see, kind of pushed him out to the left side. Probably have another forehand play from there.
And Eric has thrown a pretty solid shot. There is kind of a tight tunnel he has to hit to get up and down.
And I'm ready to watch this backhand play here. If you can get this to float around the corner, you can get it up there pretty far.
That's
This
looking
is
like a rock out of his hand.
straightened out a little bit. It looks like it's kicked something as well. He's going to have a pretty tough shot from there. So going with the forehand, and he gets up over the hill and has
Wow.
a birdie look. Eric taking a left side fairway over there, which I've never noticed before, but it looked pretty open.
Yeah, there definitely is. If you do push deep, there is an opening to scramble, which I like in the course design.
Oh, what a difficult shot from Chris there. Unfortunate to hit that last tree, but the angle that he just threw that on to miss the tree that's directly in front of him, just an incredible shot.
Jonathan going something pretty overstable, but he sticks it. That's going to be another birdie look for him.
Oh, and Chris must have been just inside the circle there, probably wanting to be another foot or two outside so he could dial in that step. Eric for the birdie after using left side fairway. Gets a little right on it, pulls it just a bit, hangs on maybe a bit too long out of his hand.
That is a sick birdie from Nolan.
Yeah, there's no telling where he went up the fairway or off the fairway there. He was so far back on the right side. Just an incredible scramble birdie. And Jonathan here pretty much just tapping in his birdie after 2 good forehands.
Yeah, back-to-back birdies. He officially has erased the bogey he took on 2 and now has gone under par as we move on to hole number 5.
Hi, my name is Chris Dickerson. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. I want to say thanks to my sponsors, Prodigy Disc, VII Apparel Company, and check out my signature series PA3s.
We're going to move into hole number 5. And Nathan, what do you think about this hole?
Yeah, so this is it's the 3rd hardest hole on the course, playing at a half a stroke over par. There's not righty backhand turnover putter or mid-range is your best flight to get to the basket.
But as you can see,
that's what you bring into play. As soon as you turn it over too much, you're kicking left side, which left side or right side, there's not much you have going on. If this keeps okay, he's not quite turned it enough. He did get far enough where he has more of an open look.
And Chris hit on Annie, but he kept moving forward, which is pretty fortunate for him. Jonathan, we did see his kick way left.
And that's the play. I think that's the safer play to get a 3 is kind of a forehand or the left to right moving shot. It's such a weird angle right in the middle of this fairway. It's not quite a dog leg to the right, but it's not really just a standard left to right angle either. And the pinch point is just so small, the gap you have to hit after you get down the original part of the fairway.
Yeah, and Eric, as you can see, even being somewhat up the fairway, still didn't have much of a gap to get up and down. Here's Chris scrambling for his birdie, or for his par.
Yeah, it feels like birdie. 306 feet, a par 3 playing 3.5. You know, that's a tough thing to get a birdie on. And Chris rolling down into that ditch down there, which is really a good thing. It's that's one of the things, if you do get close, you can run this basket pretty hard. That's not OB ditch, so it just kind of collects it, and you've got a little short uphill putt for it.
And yet again, Jonathan has to go with a forehand roller. And it just keeps going a bit too straight. He's going to have a 40, 50-foot uphill putt for a par. Or for a bogey, I believe, actually.
And Eric, trying to give that one a bid, does get collected down in that creek. It's just a tough hole. There was 10 birdies on it. That's a little surprising to me. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And he knew it out of his hand. You could hear him just a little bit. Just a little undercommitted. And that's a good scramble from Chris.
Yeah, I believe he threw forehand roller. That's a shot you kind of have to really have out here. There's a lot of circumstances where it's really the best option. And here's Jonathan, I believe, for a double bogey. And that is a tough, tough way to finish off a stretch of 2 birdies in a row. He is now back over par.
Yeah, and Eric with the double bogey as well. Just showing that you could really disc down and just throw 150 feet off of this tee pad, and as long as you hit the middle, you're going to have a better option than if you kick one of those trees off to the left or right.
Hole 6, pretty straightforward hole. One of the more straightforward holes in the course. 243 feet, OB Creek in the middle, so if you do hit early, you could be in trouble. This is just a simple putter shot. Nolan should have this in the bag.
So after the last 3 holes of 3, 4, and 5, this is one you step up to it, and it doesn't really matter what's happened on those last 3 holes. You feel like you need to get this.
And Nolan has parked his drive, hitting the PDGA padding. That is a stress-free birdie for him, and Dickerson looks like he's following suit if it slows down.
Yeah, it comes in a little hot. This green does play pretty fast. There's a few roots that'll stop you, but you can slide past pretty quickly. You do have this OB Creek in the middle where that bridge is at. Jonathan's come up just a bit short of it. So even though this is one of the holes you want to get, there is still a pretty quick bogey chance.
Oh, yeah. Eric has pulled his a bit right. He has gotten over the OB Creek, and he is going to be able to get up and down for at least a 3. Jonathan is in a tough spot here.
And I'm throwing through a tree with some overstable plastic there and a really good upshot. Eric trying to give it a run. Tough ante shot there. It's hard to control that drift without turning it over too much.
Ooh, just high left for Chris. And being a spin putter, that is not a section of the basket that is friendly, but that is a great catch on the Latitude 64 baskets. Jonathan taps in his par.
Yeah, about 18 feet there, and after a double bogey, that's going to feel a little stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eric just looking a tiny bit off to start this round out.
And Nolan with the tap in after almost catching some metal there. Great shot.
PDGA has ignited the passions of professional and amateur members, paving the way for generation after generation of diehard players. Disc golf isn't just your passion, it's ours too.
What do you think about hole number 7 here, Nathan?
Yeah, hole 7, another one of those old school par 4s I would say that you described. 420 feet. It's a dog leg left after 180 to 220 feet of the fairway. There's one tree on the right side that you want to miss, and he's gone just inside of it. And then you kind of have this plinko section of trees where you may or may not get through, but as long as you get past that first original corner, you've got a pretty good chance to get up there.
Yeah, there is an aggressive line here. If you take a flippy distance driver and really jam it on hyzer, Dickerson was trying to do that.
Very surprising to see Jonathan go with the forehand here. That's the tree on the right that I was saying you have to get just inside of, and that is going to be a tough scramble from there.
And that's the challenging part about throwing this flick turnover is if you hit a tree, you are roll bouncing to the right. You're roll bouncing farther away from the hole.
Yeah, and it's very easy to turn it over early as well and get inside too far left.
Wow.
Eric, however, if this sits down flat, it does get a little bit of cut roll. He's not in the best position, but he does still have an opportunity for the birdie from there.
And Jonathan, you see the basket of one of the previous holes they played. He kicked way right.
And you could tell going flick roller there, that's usually just a get out of jail, trying to get somewhere shot. So we'll see where he ended up. And Smoothie through the woods just catches that last little, what used to be a creek, and stays down in the ravine down there. He'll be circle
25.
Yeah, maybe circle 2, 25 feet looking for his birdie. And Eric didn't have any problem with where he was at, showing why he threw the forehand off of the tee.
Chris, nice soft putter into the green.
Yeah, threw it out a little wide, but got sneaky. Gets up there on the green. And it looks like Jonathan's still in scramble mode. However, another incredible touch forehand shot out of him to get him up there, and pretty easy par look.
Correct me if I'm wrong, was that an arrow he was throwing?
It looked like it could have been.
That is an old school Innova putter, super floaty. It's what the players in the 80s a lot of times used to throw in distance competitions.
Yeah, cool stuff, pulling out the old school discs. And Jonathan here to save a really good par.
And that, like you said, is a fantastic par after seeing the camera shot showing the previous basket they played.
He was so far off we didn't even get to see his forehand roller, and then he's still able to get up there and get the par. Moving on to what I would consider the hardest line to hit for a par 3 on the course. 402 feet. Just, you saw the drone footage right there. You've got a maybe 15 foot wide pinch point to hit while you're drifting left and then wanting it to fade back right.
Yeah, righty Heiser has to flip up the entire way while still moving to the left side.
And kicking early there. The best play on this is to get down the hill across that flat and to that original ditch, where if you've played here before, you would have seen the basket.
Chris taking the optimal line with that righty forehand turnover, and he is up there for birdie. Look, that is a fantastic shot.
Such a good shot. Eric gonna try to follow that same line. It doesn't look like he's... Well, he did turn it just enough. It kind of got a little sneaky through there, and he will also have a circle 2 look. Can we do it one more time? That was drifting right, but it caught just a little bit of foliage up there and kicks down.
And Nolan going with that patent pending backhand. He's still going to be looking to get up and down for a 4.
Yeah, and as you can see here from Jonathan's shot, if you don't get to that ditch, there's just a wall of trees there, and you've got to have a lucky angle to be able to get through there clean.
Yep, there's a bogey for Nolan, just like that. Yes!
And Eric Oakley getting pin high, hitting the circle 2 putt. Let's see it again.
Such a smooth trajectory.
Man, that's such a great birdie to get.
We have 2 players putting for those birdies. Here's Jonathan. This is a par. Just low left, and that's got to sit down.
Okay, that's not too bad. So I think we have Chris Dickerson here even closer, maybe inside the circle on the second hardest hole on the course here, again averaging over a half a stroke over par for the second birdie on the card.
Wow.
That's just amazing. We get to see 2 birdies on this hole of the 5 on the day. Matthew Oram, Garrett Gerthy, and Paul Ulibarri also were able to get the 2 on this one.
Taking his time. He knows that this is for bogey, and he can't take another double.
Thank you guys for following our round here on Gatekeeper Media. If you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at JohnNicholson_DG. And thank you to my sponsors, Dynamic Disc Carrollton, who's running the tournament, and Early Recognition is Critical. Thank you guys.
And we're going to move into hole number 9. It opens up a little bit, 351 feet, a little bit uphill, a little bit downhill. A lot of times for the righties, this is going to be a slow drifting to the right backhand.
Yeah, after those last few shots you've just thrown, even though you see a gap here, once you get here, you feel a little bit of relief as you see how wide this fairway is once you hit the original gap. Another one, even though it's a slightly uphill 351 feet, you feel like you need to get out on this course.
Oh, that is so bad. He's working though.
And Eric is throwing
A little early release there, but still gets up there pretty far. He may or may not have a look. It gets pretty thick once you're off the fairway.
Nolan just a bit late, pulls it. And that's going to be a tough scramble.
And if this keeps on floating, this looks pretty good out of Jonathan here. It was just a bit low, but that's the line you're looking for. And that's one of the prettier putter shots you can see, just kind of on a hyzer but going straight, floating on up there. A very good way to control the distance on your shot.
Here's Eric for birdie after going a little early.
Why do you drop?
And just a good line there, a little bit of drop once he let go of the putter. There is a few trails around here, so even though you're in the woods, this is one of the few baskets where you could feel a slight bit of wind. Nothing that's really nothing that we haven't been used to for the rest of the year.
Exactly. And Chris, that is fourth birdie in a row, I believe. He moves to 5 under par.
Yeah, hot start. 5 down through the front 9. That's what you want to do. You've got some easier par 4s on the back to try to add to that score. So Chris with the lone par here on hole 9. I know the rest of the cards wanting to get that one as well before you move on to a pretty difficult hole to start the back 9.
And there you have it, folks. Front 9 is over. Chris Dickerson is on a tear. 5 down through the front 9. The rest of our card is really trying to just stay afloat. The challenging Dogwood Course is showing its teeth.
Yeah, and we've got Jeremy Colling and Casey White popping off some hot rounds at 10 down. Joel Freeman coming in early with a 9 down.
Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube. And again, I am Brian Earhart. He's Nathan Queen. We are signing off. We will see you on the back 9.
We'll see you out there.